Hello and welcome to my channel. It's the Network Specialist. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I go live. Okay? Now, everything I will discuss in this video is alleged and in my very own opinion, used for entertainment purposes only. And today I will be doing a recap of W.A.G.S To Riches, Season 1, Episode 2, Queen Bee and Wannabees. Okay, now let's get into it. And so, as you guys come in, go ahead and like the video as you come in, please, and thank you. So, in scene one, Sherelle and Chad was on a yacht with their kids, and it was a beautiful yacht, might I add. Chad has 8 kids. She has 4 kids, including one together. So that equals a total of 11 kids. So they have a very big family amongst them. Okay. Um, so they seem to have blended together quite nicely. All of the kids seem to get along, and so far. And I'm pretty sure that will change somewhere down the line. But as of right now, everybody is getting along. Sherelle and the girls were making TikTok videos on the yacht, but apparently Sherelle can't dance, so that didn't go over too well. Sherelle and Chad share an intimate moment with an old nasty kiss. Um, Not too bad. It was just the tongue action from Chad for me. Sherelle was trying to have a conversation about the wedding, but in her confessionals, Sherelle said that when she met Chad, she just wanted to hit it and quit it. And why she had to say that, I don't know, but she wanted to put that out there, okay? She slid into his DMs, but she was not looking for anything serious. She shared that Chad is very supportive, so that is what brought her deeper into him and made her, I guess, like him even more. She already had everything going for herself, so he was just the icing on the cake, okay? And she said, even to this day, he still supports everything she does. And she said that's her man and she loves him. Okay. So she asked him what was the budget for the wedding. And he said 300. So I'm assuming he means 300,000. Then she asked if he was okay with a destination wedding. And he went on to say that he was going to the Bahamas. He didn't know where she was getting married at, but he knows where he's getting married. And it seems to me like this whole wedding thing is almost like a big joke, you know. It just it just doesn't seem very serious when they, share conversations about the wedding, but obviously that might change, but that's what it's looking like for now. He wants to wear white. He wants to come in on a white horse. You know, he wants it to be out by the ocean, white flowers everywhere, doves scattered, kids in white. So he has this whole picture of how he wants this wedding to play out. So she said, that ain't happening, right? And the fact that her husband is sharing, well, her fiance is sharing how he wants this wedding to be, you know, I don't understand her problem with that. Hey, Sharon Godbolt, thank you so much for being here, sis. So he said he definitely he doesn't want to be in charge. He just wants his ideas to come into fruition because apparently he might be the one paying for it. Okay. So he wants it to be memorable and not just for her. Okay. She replied that this is your wedding. You might as well plan the wedding. And he said, I can't, just because he gave her some input on what he would like, to see at the wedding. So Sherelle has been married before and played the role of giving, yourself to your man while the man is the breadwinner. but she was not happy in that role. I guess she wanted to have her own thing. She didn't want to have to depend on her man. So she didn't feel comfortable in that situation. So after that divorce, she decided that she was going to focus on herself because at the end of the day, even if they are not together, she still wants to be able to survive and make sure her kids are taken care of. And I totally agree with that. You definitely want to be independent and you have your own finances and not have to depend on a man. Now, so far, I pretty much agree with everything Sherelle is saying. Shout out to the independent woman. You know, I wish that for every woman. So Sherelle said, no one comes before her kids. It's God, her kids, her job, and then her relationship. And just from my perspective and my opinion, there's nothing wrong with what she said. Sometimes you just got to leave some things to the imagination. You just don't have to speak on everything. You can think that way in your head, but if your fiance is looking or listening to this, he might feel some kind of way because the Bible says that your husband comes first. So, you know what I'm saying? That might give him some reservations when it comes to marrying her. But like I said, I agree with what she's saying, but she just could have kept that information to herself. So it seems to me like they're probably not on the same page when it comes to the wedding, married life, and just life, period. Okay. So in the next scene, Jules and Sade met up at a restaurant. Jules comes out and says that she needs to take a plan B. Just right out the gate, she mentioned that she needs to take a plan B. She says her baby daddy, Duke, and her have been spending some time together, but she is indecisive about, you know, if this is the life she wants for her daughter. She's not used to seeing them together. Her daughter is not used to seeing them together. So opening up this can of worms could go really well or it could go left. So she went on to explain the situation with her daughter and her baby's daddy. She says her daughter will really have awareness of the situation, meaning if they decide to rekindle their romance, you know, her daughter will see her daughter for who he really, her dad for who he really is. So it's obvious that right now she is living some type of facade when it comes to her daughter and her baby daddy. Her baby daddy lives 6 minutes from her and has been living, you know, 6 minutes from her for the last 6 months, but has never been to see her at her house. So I'm not sure if the daughter doesn't know that that's her dad or whatever the case may be. We'll find out more on that situation later on, I'm sure. So while they were together, she was offered some great opportunities with Kanye West and she said no, but he felt like she resented him, you know, because she had to turn down those great opportunities because that's not something he wanted the mother of his child working on. So this affected their relationship and ultimately caused them to split. She said he never supported her and downplayed everything she did and never empowered her. So she never wants to be in a relationship again where she has to dim her light. And I totally agree with that. Like your partner has to support you in everything you do, and you have to support your partner as well. She wants her daughter to know what a real man is, a man that protects, provides, inspires. And at this point, that is what she demands. She's not willing to settle for anything less. She will either be rich and alone or in a relationship with a loving, caring man who provides and supports all of her endeavors. This was a very sincere and genuine conversation, very emotional for Jules. This is how women should show up for each other and be there for each other during these times. So, In scene three, Miranda, aka MJ, is at the studio with some of her friends and they are getting ready to listen to some of her new music. And they are happy to see she's in a great mood despite what just happened with her going to jail and all. So her friend Kiki asks, how does she feel about what happened? Her getting arrested. And MJ replied, that is unfortunate, but yeah. In her confessionals, MJ said that she had a feeling that she was going to be arrested, but if she ever pictured herself going to jail, it would be for something like this, battery or assault. So she's really just being real and saying that, she knows that she has anger issues. She knows that she's with a rapper. There's always women around. So, she kind of seen this coming. And Sharon said, I agree with that because I see a lot of women dim their lives so their man can shine. Exactly. It happens all the time. So they were all supposed to be on, and I'm explaining what happened when she went to jail. They were all supposed to be on a boat, but she couldn't make it, unfortunately. So her mother went on the boat with her kids. Kodak was there, and one of his baby mamas took it upon herself to do videos dancing all up on Kodak, knowing that that would piss her off because they're in a relationship. And the thing about that is, if you felt like she was doing that to get up under your skin, like why allow this lady to, provoke you and you end up being the one going to jail? And again, it worked. So she had to get, dealt with when she say, when she saw her, she had to deal with her. And that's what happened. But she's going to beat the case because she has a good ass lawyer. So this is what MJ said. She's going to beat the case because she has a good lawyer. And she was mature enough to say that the next time she's going to think twice before reacting because she has kids and she is not going back to jail. She had a very bad experience when she went to jail. Um, Her friend Kiki asked her how she felt about the whole jail experience. And, she described how dirty the jail was. It was nasty. And so she just pretty much slept it off until the next day when she was going to court. So she is charged with burglary, assault with grand theft, and she briefly described the altercation, and she said it's the postpartum too. She just had a baby, so her emotions all over the place. And I can see that. And she said that before. She's dealing with, postpartum depression, and some days she don't even want to get out of bed. So she said the burglary and the grand theft charges are going to get dropped. It's just the assault and battery because she did hit the girl. She didn't lie about it. She said she did hit the girl, but she didn't steal nothing from her. So those two charges should be dropped. She went on to say that she will not let people beneath her bring her there. Exactly. Girl, you got the man. So, why allow yourself to be over there fighting with baby mamas or whatever the case may be? And honestly, she should have just had a conversation with her dude and let him deal with the baby moms. But obviously, he was all for it because he should have handled the situation when it was happening. So it seems like she learned her lesson and she is not, you know, going to let it happen again, hopefully. And I truly hope she means that because that man will move on to the next chick and she will have to suffer from all of her unnecessary actions. When all she had to do is leave his cheating ass, with her life still intact. And this mistake, this is a mistake that a lot of women make, especially in their younger days. And, I know when we're young, we make mistakes and we learn from our mistakes. So hopefully she learned from her mistakes. So in scene four, Keita, Tyreek's wife, the NFL player, wide receiver, and Sherelle is meeting with a seller's agent because Keita is in the market to purchase a new home. So Sherelle took Kita on a tour of what was an absolutely amazing home. Kita is currently pregnant with her first child, but Tariq already has 9 kids. So this makes 10. Her and Sherelle almost have the same amount of kids, with Sherelle and Chad's kids combined. Kita said she wasn't even, counting his kids. She was just worried about her own life. So I'm thinking, you mean to tell me that you weren't concerned even just a little bit about dealing with baby mamas? Baby mamas can sometimes make or break a relationship. And Sharon said, exactly. They can make or break a relationship. If you got baby mamas who don't interfere in your relationship, then you might be good. But if you got toxic baby mama drama, then that's a different story. So they shared their experience with, the baby mamas because obviously they are in the same boat. Sherelle shared that she doesn't have any problems with his baby mamas. They contact her before they contact Chad. And Keita said, it's been the same way for her too. For some of them, it sounds like she might have an issue, with at least one of them, but for the most part, they contact her. And I said to myself, well, dang, how many baby mamas does Tyreek have? And in the very next clip, they showed an article that said Tyreek Hill is expecting another child with his first wife, Keita, and he's already the father of 10 kids. So I don't she said 10 kids total, but it looks like he might have 11 kids with four different baby mamas. So I guess that answers my question. But there is a little discrepancy about the number of kids he has. So the house that Sherelle was showing is going for 49 million. So Keita and Tyreek, I mean, that money must be money, and they must have a lot of money. And that house was freaking awesome. But Keita and Sherelle did have a conversation about the last meetup with the girls, and Sherelle wanted to know what she thought about all the ladies. And she did find out that there might have been some underlying jealousy between Keita and Sade, with Sade being the one who is jealous of Keita because Tyreek is coming in as the best wide receiver for the Dolphins, and Sade's husband, Chosen, is not playing for the Dolphins right now, at this point in time, anyway. So in scene 5, Portia Andre's wife, and is the owner of a lifestyle brand called Br- Bad Bitch Good Mom, which is very intriguing. So she is hosting an event in Miami for her brand. And I imagine that this is extremely important to her since she is in the process of moving to Miami. Sherelle was the first guest to arrive, and she claims that she is going to be nice because, you know, we all know how things can go left when, Sherelle is in the building. So Portia's event, and it's Portia's event, and she wants things to go extra smoothly. But the truth is, she doesn't foresee any issues because Stoney won't be there because she wasn't invited. So Sherelle then said, Stoney won't be there. And Portia replied, she surely wasn't. And I thought that was kind of strange because on the last episode, Stoney was getting ready. I'm sorry. Um, Portia was getting ready to show a house to Stoney. So, I was a little surprised that she wasn't going to be there. So I wonder if Sherelle played a part in the downfall of, Portia not showing Stoney that house. But Portia mentioned that Sade was coming but wasn't invited. And it was likely that Jules was the one that invited her. So Ashley and Alexis arrives next, and because they rode together to the event. And I must say that there is still something about Ashley that I'm not too fond of. And now that she has arrived, her partner in crime, Sherelle, is probably going to get turned up because it seems like anytime Sherelle and Ashley get together, things always seem to go left. So as soon as she arrived, things seem to shift a little bit. So Jules and Sade arrives, and again there was immediate shift in the atmosphere. Jules asked who else was coming, and Sherelle blurts out, "Stony, Baloney was not invited." And I was thinking to myself, like, what happened to you being nice, Sherelle? Most of the ladies thought that statement was mean. Then Miranda shows up, and all the ladies appear to be happy to see her. She was looking super cute, and she won even more points with me when Sherelle wanted to steal the spotlight back and get back to the previous conversation. Portia said that Sade called her mean. Sade corrected her and said, "I said y'all, not like everyone." And Alexis, my fave, said, "Not me." And if you don't know by now, Alexis is my fave. She's the least problematic from what I've seen so far. So Miranda, who just got there, came right out the gate and said, "I know who's mean." And Sherelle said, "Who's mean?" And Miranda replies, "You, Sherelle." She called that biatch right on out, and everybody cheered. Then in her confessional, Miranda said that Sherelle was a mean girl, which is what I picked up after watching the very first episode, or maybe even the trailer of this show. So Jules went on to say that her and Sade had a conversation about Sherelle and her mean girl tendencies. She understands if you don't want to be associated with somebody, but wanted to know why you didn't want to be associated with Stony and why you would treat her so cruel. So they looked up and found out that 50 Cent, and I'm speaking of Jules and Sade. So they looked up and found out that 50 Cent bought her ex tape and put it out, destroyed her life, and pushed her to the brink of suicide. And Sharon says, "I'm glad she called her out." I mean, that's one thing I do like about Miranda. She ain't scared to call a bitch out. Okay. So she really did get extorted. She really did have to sue because, her name was slandered. And of course, Alexis sympathized and agreed with the ladies, Jules and Sade. See, this is why you have to get to know people for yourself because people will paint a narrative that couldn't be further from the truth. So if it was up to Sherelle, she wants to paint this narrative about Stony that, she was pretty much a call girl and she's out there making X tapes or whatever the case may be. So Sade, the same person that Keita and Sherelle called jealous, stepped up to say that she just feels like everyone should just try to get along and you know, look into the possibility of just being able to try to coexist if they're going to be around each other. And Sherelle basically said, "We in the same building, but she doesn't have to be at the same table as me. She can get her own table." Another mean girl statement from Sherelle. Like, are you effing kidding me? Because at this point, it seems like the only two people who seem to have a problem with Stony is Sherelle and Ashley. See, this is how you get to the bottom of Ish. and call a mother sucker out on their BS and hold them accountable. You know that stuff Melody be talking about, resolution. So in confessionals, Sherelle went on to say what frustrates her about Stony is that she had more money than all of them because of the lawsuit she had with 50 Cent, and she just blew it trying to impress people. She hangs around with the wrong people, and she's the oldest out of all of them. Girl, did you just sit there and say that you don't like this girl because of the way she spends her money? And if we didn't just see you on a yacht with your family, like nobody's questioning the fact that, you and your man out here renting yachts. So she then added that it's harder to change older people. She's not fixing to waste her time and breath trying to raise a grandma. She sounded so shallow because outside of Stony, she's the second oldest person in this group. So, mean girl number two, which is Ashley, had to step in to save her. And I'm pretty sure, give me 1 second, guys. And I'm pretty sure Ish is fixing to go left now that Ashley has stepped into the conversation. Ashley told Sade that it sounded a little mean girlish with the situation at the game where you guys were sharing a suite. And before she could even get it out, Sade interrupted her and said, "Yeah, how did you hear about that?" So after a brief silence, everybody looking at each other, Ashley replied, "Sherelle told me." And Sade replied, "Of course she did, because everybody knows Sherelle likes to start shit." Hey, Cece, thank you so much for being here. So Sherelle said, "I did. And what happened about it was mean girl." And Ashley and Sherelle wanted to know what was the problem with her telling her about the situation. And she didn't want to make her reply, so she cut her off to make her point that Hard Knocks was filming, and ultimately, she was the one who made the decision that they were not allowed to film in the suite. She thought that, it was kind of the same situation. And Sade said, no, it's not the same situation. She then went on to say that she didn't tell Sherelle the whole story of anything. Then Ashley replied that I don't think she got the story from you. She got the story from Keita. So Sherelle, being the two-faced person that she is, she went back and told the story to Ashley. So Sherelle is supposed to be friends with both of these ladies, but her two-faced ass has picked a side. Not that Keita was right and Sade was wrong. She chose the person who had the biggest bag, okay? Because she did say that this is not, and not verbatim, but she did say she ain't being friends with nobody who can't do anything for her. And she is in the process of trying to sell a house to Keita for 49 million, might I add. So obviously she's gonna take the side of Keita. But on the other hand, you trying to come between Portia and Stony while Portia is trying to get her bag. It's the double standards for me. And why is Ashley speaking on something that, Sherelle told her, and Sherelle is sitting right there in front of her? So Sade eloquently and confidently said, I'm not arguing with anyone at this table. I'm going to tell you what it is and what it's not. So after Sade told her side of the story, which I'm not going to get into it, the meat and potatoes of it, I picked a side. If Sherelle can pick a side, so can I. Besides, Sade's story made perfect sense. Hey, Paula, thank you so much for being here. And not only that, when Keita said she wasn't even counting kids, she was worried about her own life. I knew then that something was off with Keita because at the end of the day, you need to be concerned about the baby mamas. Then Portia chimed in to say that the only thing that had her antennas go up was at the party. Sade walks in and sits down, and then Chosen walks in with his all blacks on, and that it looked like he came because she was uncomfortable. And that made her think that Sade does have a problem with Keita. So I guess this was the first time that they had seen each other after the situation at the game with the suite. But wasn't there other men there? I'm confused. Can y'all help me to understand, if you seen it in the chat, why her man showing up made them feel like her and Keita had a problem? So Sade said that's not true. And she said in the calmest voice, Portia came back with, but that's what it looked like. Okay, that's your perception. That doesn't make it reality. Portia, don't you know that there is three sides to a story and that you shouldn't assume things because you make an ass of yourself? And of course, Mean Girl Sherelle had to insert herself and she said it's giving fake. Meanwhile, I'm paying attention to Jules and Ashley thinking that it looks like Jules is texting Ashley right in front of the girls while they were sitting, right there in front of each other. So Sade then told Sherelle, no, baby, there's nothing fake about me. There's nothing fake in my body. And Sherelle at that point started to get a little rowdy and said, I can't deal with fake bitches. Meanwhile, Miranda is over there laughing her ass off inside, looking at these fools like I just got out of jail from having an altercation with a female. The last thing I want to do is sit here and watch y'all go back and forth. I could have stayed my ass at home, you know. So Sade told Sherelle, then bitch, don't. Two-Face Sherelle shouts out, you ain't even supposed to be here. Now, something that, of course, Portia had revealed to her, she's being two-faced again. So Sade came with, why are you screaming? Like, you're like the oldest person here. And, I'm age shaming. She's age shaming Sherelle, just like, Sherelle age shamed Stoney, like she tried to do Stoney. So they both said, why are you here? And Sherelle said, because this is my best friend, referring to Portia. Sade said, okay. And like, what are you doing? Like, you're trying to argue about what? Because you're fake. And so Sade let her know, I'm not Stony, okay? Like, you're not going to little girl me, and I'm not going to argue with you. So they went back and forth a little bit longer. And then the party organizer came over, tapped the glass, and said that, the food is ready. So they went on to eat. Okay. So, like, y'all are over here trying to have a nice celebration for Mother's Day and eat some delicious food and take y'all ass home to some whining babies, nagging husbands. What are y'all doing? Like, it's just a shame when women can't get together and act right. Sade said that she was going to get some food and she ain't got time to be going back and forth with no old lady about what she want to do. And if she feels like yelling, it's how she proves a point. And she said she is too classy for that. But in her confessionals, Sade said that in this group of women, there's natural groups of friends that may be closer than other people in the group. And it just kind of gave Mean Girls. But what she really wants to know is how everybody at the table know about her business, and she didn't tell none of them her business. So apparently, the person telling everybody business is Sherelle. So Sade decided to go sit back at the table and drank her water because she was not going to break bread with these bitches because she ain't nothing. She ain't got nothing to talk about. And, she could tell, you could just tell that she was really still pissed off. So Miranda requested a shot for all the ladies, and Sherelle had to tell Portia to do a toast for the ladies. She ended up giving a subpar speech and thanking the ladies for coming. And then she announced that she was pregnant. Remember, at the last get together, they asked her if she was pregnant because she wasn't drinking, and she said no. So none of the ladies knew she was pregnant, and she announced it at her event. So it did lighten the mood at the brunch for everybody but Sade. She was still fuming from the attacks by Sherelle, but definitely trying to be a good sport. So in the next scene, Miranda was meeting up with her mom, Carla, at a bar, and they discussed that, I think she went out of town for a birthday trip, and then they lightly discussed, that situation with her daughter going to jail. Now, Miranda has time to really sit down and think about the repercussions of her actions. I think she really regrets, getting into that altercation with the other baby mama. Now, I'm not going to be long winded about this scene because there really wasn't much to talk about, but I will say I did like when Miranda said that, you know, she was a catch, like she really the full package, and bragged on herself for a little bit and ultimately said that it really don't get any better than her. So Miranda is very confident. So hopefully her actions will match what's coming out of her mouth in the future. But what I didn't like is when her mom said, I don't care if you date an effing lawyer, a doctor, the man at effing Home Depot, they all cheat. When she said that, I tuned out. Bitch, I know you're not teaching your daughter to settle. Is it because you are also reaping the benefits of their relationship and their lifestyle? At that point, I lost all respect for her mom. My mom would never. She tried to pretty it up, but at the end of the day, the message was still the same. She's teaching her daughter to settle and deal with a cheating ass man, in my opinion. And the episode pretty much ended, with her and her mom at this dinner, and her mom teaching her how to lower her standards and deal with a cheating ass man. So, what do you guys think about this episode? All I know is I'm really developing a very strong disdain for Sherelle. She's a messy ass bitch, and it shows her and Ashley both. Okay. And every time those two are in the room, it's very, very messy. Okay. So, guys, I'm going to end this video right there. And if you just happen to be catching the replay, make sure you drop down in the comments so that we can keep this conversation going. If you have not done so already, please like this video. Please and thank you. So, guys, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.